All right, so in phase 3, what we're going to talk about are sales or goal funnels. So unlike a goal itself that is, one specific task or one specific URL, a funnel is actually a series of URLs that lead up to that goal, right? So with goals, with goal funnels, you can have up to 10 steps that lead up to your goal, which you would consider a conversion. Now, I would probably warn you, though, if you're requiring your users to take 10 steps before they get to whatever the end result is going to be, you're probably going to lose a whole lot of people. So I would say let's cut that in half and actually start doing some measurements, okay? I'm sure there's probably reasons why you would need to have a 10-step goal, but for the life of me, I can't really think of any. So the sign-up process with goal funnels or sales funnels is, again, it's a relatively simple process, right? I mean, really where it takes a little bit of work is when you start doing kind of the investigation and trying to read the data and seeing what it really means. But when you're actually filling out your goal, let's say, for example, it's a URL goal. So you type in your URL, you put in your name, you put in the value, and then down on the bottom of that page, there's a little checkbox that says, use funnel. So what you do, boop, put a little check in there, and then what it's going to do is it's going to open up your first step. And again, you can have up to 10. So what you do is you just type in the URL of the first step. So maybe my first step is a product page. And then maybe my second step is, well, it's a product detail page. And then maybe the third step is, a checkout page, like if your checkout is 3 pages, whatever the case may be. And then you can go ahead and start entering in those URLs one at a time, and you can have up to 10 of them. Now, the only thing that's different with step number 1 is you can actually make step number 1 what's called required. And what that means is if somebody gets to the end of the goal, right, whatever your goal is going to be, whatever we're going to consider that conversion, if they get to the end, but they don't go through step number 1 to get there, we're not going to count that as a conversion, right? We're not going to count that as a goal being met. There are tons of reasons why you'd want to do that. People can come into a process at any given step. They can come in from the side, they can come in from different pages and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of ways that people can actually work with your site and not necessarily do the path that you think that they're going to. So, at the end of the result, we set this thing up, it's all good to go. The end result is what's called a funnel visualization report. And this is actually where it starts to get cool, right? The way that the funnel visualization report works is that there's these individual funnel units. I don't even know what you would call them, but if your funnel, say for example, has 4 pages in it, you're going to see 4 of these units. And at each one of these little funnel units, you're going to see 4 arrows. There's going to be one from the top coming down. There's going to be one from the left pointing in. There's going to be one from the right that's pointing out, and then there's going to be one at the bottom going down. And like a funnel, I mean, if you think about this, it probably makes sense, right? The ones from the top coming down, those are going to be the traffic, or those are the visitors that actually came in through the previous step. So if this is the first step in the funnel, you're not going to have it. But the second, third, fourth, all the way down to your goal, you're going to have that number coming in. The one on the left, those are going to be the people that are actually coming in from outside of your funnel. Like we said, there's always multiple ways to get to certain things. It could be a direct connection. Somebody could have just typed in the URL, or they could have come in a different place. Those additional traffic people that come in are coming in from the left-hand side, and that's going to show up there in terms of the number of visitors, and it's also going to give you a percentage. Now, on the right-hand side, where we've got the arrow kind of pointing out of your funnel, these are the bad ones. These are the ones that we don't like. What this is these are the number of people that had come into the funnel and that are actually leaving. So those are the people that are exiting your funnel at that stage. So if you get to a point where you see, you have 900 people coming in and then 200 people coming out of the bottom, that means you've got a whole lot of people that are shooting out the right-hand side. So there's something on that page that people aren't liking. It could be a really long form. It could be an offensive image. Whatever the case is, what I would do is I would strongly suggest you take a look at that page and try to get some feedback, because you're losing a lot of people. And then again, the last arrow is going to be the one obviously at the bottom. Those are going to be the people that go from step 1 to step 2 in your funnel, and then so on to step 3 to step 4 and at the bottom. It's actually pretty, it's a pretty simple process to set up, and it's incredibly valuable because you can tell at what point in time in the process you're losing your people. This is where conversions are made. You know what I mean? This is really what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to take a look at how people are using your website and be able to make adjustments based on that to try to increase your conversions. Because remember, we talked about conversions, profits. Increase your conversions, increase your profits. So now the last thing that I want to be able to talk about is I want to talk real quick about another Google tool called the Website Optimizer. Now the purpose of this training isn't about Website Optimizer. We could completely go into a whole nother hour-long training about how to do website, what Website Optimizer is, how to use it, how you can, use it for your business, blah, 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 blah. But what it really boils down to is Website Optimizer is the tool that Google uses to perform A/B testing, right? So whenever we're doing A/B testing, what you do is you have a page that you want to be able to optimize. And what you never want to be able to just optimize the page and see what happens. You want to be able to test them, right? So you want to keep one page the same. You want to make changes to the other page, slight changes, not drastic changes, slight changes. And then you want to kind of put them out there and then let the world choose, right? Google Optimizer or Google Website Optimizer actually does that. So what it is, just like analytics is a little snippet of JavaScript code, Website Optimizer is the same thing. You're going to go ahead and set up an experiment, what they call them, and then you're going to get a little bit of code. You're actually going to get 3 pieces of code. One piece of code is going to go into your original page. That's going to be what we would consider your base. One set of the JavaScript code is actually going to go into the new version, right? That's our B in our A/B testing. And then the third set of code is actually going to go into our conversion page. And then once those things are in place, you can verify it. Google will go out and check and make sure that the code is installed properly. And if it's installed properly, that's it. Google takes care of the rest. So what it does is when traffic comes to that page, it'll just divert traffic. Some will go to A, some will go to B, and then usually right around the time you get maybe 200-300 conversions, Google will be able to, at that point in time, be able to make a decision as to which one is the definitive winner, right? Which one converts better. It'll give you all the statistics, but Google, being Google, they want to go one step further. So they're even going to tell you, this one here is the clear winner. And then when you get your clear winner, because not everything you do is going to work, right? You may do a test and that one bombs. So you get rid of that one and you perform another test. But as soon as you find one that performs a little bit better than your original, that then becomes your base, and now you come up with a new B. You should always be A/B testing. You should always be trying to strive for higher conversion ratios, because we saw in our example, if you went from a 2% conversion to a 3% conversion, we were able to get a 57% increase in profitability. Now what happens if you can go from 2 to 3.5 or 2 to 4, right? That's where we want to be. This is, we're always circling in, and we're always trying to get closer and closer and closer to what we would consider, our perfect conversion. So again, Website Optimizer, awesome tool. Not really the purpose here, but if you have questions about it, I would suggest, maybe go to Black Dog Education, and you can use the office hours if you have specific questions about that. Go ahead and submit your question on Facebook, and we can go ahead and answer them at that point in time. All right, so I know that we've covered a lot tonight, and probably a little bit too much if you're actually brand new to analytics. But before you get overwhelmed, I want you to just take a second. The key here is that you don't have to do it all at once, right? That's why we broke this down into 3 sections, right? You can crawl, and then you've got the walk, and then you've got the run. Just start at the beginning. That's really all there is to it, right? So you don't need to do them all right now, but if you're looking to grow your company, if you're looking to grow your small business, then you absolutely need to get started, okay? Remember, in the example that we talked about, we talked about how a 1% increase in conversion rate yielded a 57% increase in profitability, right? I mean, your numbers obviously are going to be different because that was based on certain cost per clicks and certain conversion rates and this and that. But just think about that. I mean, what would a 57% increase in your profitability right now, what would that mean to you, right? What would that mean to your business, Could you start, I don't know, maybe putting money back into your vacation jar, right? Start putting that back on the table and talking about that, Could you expand your business? Maybe you hire somebody to take care of the stuff that you don't want to do so that you can better spend your time doing the things that you're good at, How can you expand your business? Your competitors probably aren't doing that right now, right? Can you maybe just take a day off every once in a while to recharge your batteries? If you've got that extra money coming in, you don't have to worry about, banging it out 60 hours a week. Look, I'm a small business guy. I get that. mean, if you can just take a day off every once in a while to recharge your batteries, I mean, what is that worth, right? So, you know, I'm sure that there's probably a lot of, you know, whatever, right? Before you say no, before you say, you know, look, I can't do that, you know, I don't understand all of it, I'm going to need to hire a consultant, so it's going to really be expensive. Just take a second and really think about why you started your business, right? Would a 50% increase in profitability, a 40% increase in profitability, would that help you achieve whatever that reason was that you started? You know, I think it would. You know, and if you take a look inside your heart about why you're even doing this in the first place, it's not about a job, right? I mean, you started your business because you had some sort of a higher purpose, right? I did the same thing. So, you know, that is going to help. I implore you, please, if you don't pay attention to any of these other 6 videos, you can have the ugliest website in the world, but please start keeping track of your website and the traffic that's going on it. That's going to tell you volumes about your business, okay? So again, before we take off, I really appreciate your time, but before we take off, I want to make sure, if you haven't run your website through the website grader, do that now. Find out what your grade is. Make sure, if you haven't signed up for the sweepstakes, make sure that you sign up for the sweepstakes, because again, everybody that signs up is going to get the ebook at the end that has, you know, the action guide that's associated with this video, as well as the other 5 videos in the series, you know, and then one person is actually going to win a complete website redesign. So, you know, that's always pretty good. And then, you know, one more thing, and I really appreciate you spending your time with me, because I know that, you know, these videos kind of take a little bit of time, but we want to be able to deliver some content to you. But if you liked this video, you know, if you got some value out of this, please, you know, Facebook like it, you know, put some comments down below and tell your friends about it. Right? We really appreciate you helping us spread the word, okay? Again, this is Mike Linville from Black Dog Education. I want to say thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next video.